Okay.
Okay.
You started recording. Go ahead.
Okay. Chapter 2, the police cell portal. One of the most intense, transformational spaces I've ever stepped foot in. I'd say it comes pretty close to what they make jail seems like in the movies. It's a small place where people are held usually no more than 21 days after being arrested. From here, depending on each case, people either get released back home or get transferred to prison. These cells were located at the back of a police station. 5 solitary cells next to each other, each one with a used twin mattress, a used blanket, and no pillow. After the fifth cell, there was a dark restroom area that had a sink, 2 toilets, which were basically just holes in the ground, and 2 doorless shower rooms surrounded in mold. Surprisingly, there were no rodents running around, although we did get occasional visits from spiders and flying cockroaches. Because this was a short-term holding space for people, no one was ever allowed at any time to go outside. The schedule went something like this. We'd be woken up around 6 a.m. to brush our teeth and shower one at a time. And may I add, no towels were provided the entire time here. Then breakfast was brought through our cell doors around 7:30 a.m., which was always hot black milk tea with bread and butter. Then around 12:30 p.m., a chicken baguette sandwich was served for lunch. Then tea again around 2:30 and dinner around 5:30. I actually ended up spending 23 days here. 2 more days than the maximum time with no sun, and the place reeked of cigarettes from the officers chain smoking inside the building. The night I got here, there were already 3 others occupying the other cells. In the first cell was a local Mauritian woman. In the second was a foreigner from India, and the third, another foreigner from Thailand. At this point, my phone had been fully surrendered, and I was not allowed any calls to anybody, not even family. I was also so physically and emotionally exhausted from 72 straight hours of interrogation and harassment and being micromanaged with my every move, even every time I had to use the restroom. But worst of all, am I really gonna have to let go of giving my big speech for my brother's wedding in a couple days? And who's even gonna be able to let him know if I'm not? Every single part of control I ever thought I had in my life had been completely cut cold turkey from me from this point on. This is what I meant when I said I immediately knew how personal this journey was going to be. At this point, it was clearer than ever before that there was only one place left for me to go, and that place was within myself, with God. It was the only place where I'd find the slightest luck in taming my anxious nerves and mind from creating all the different nightmare scenarios from the situation, starting with ghosting my brother on one of the most important days of his life, and of course, going ghost on my 2-year-old son. Although meditating was the only place left for me to go, I remember it being nearly impossible to clear my mind of all the unknowns and wishing my higher self could just send me a love letter with some answers of how things would unfold, at least within the next month or so, and some reassurance that everything's going to be okay, just like everything else has ever been in my life when I've been here thinking it's the end of the world. Then, just after 2 days here of crazy vivid dreams, waking up wondering if I was still in my dreams, and meditating around 6 times per day, came the day of my own birthday. On my actual birthday, the US Embassy came through to see me and let me know that they've already been in contact with my family and that they will let my brother know ASAP that I wouldn't be making it to the wedding. As heartbreaking as all of this was, for the past 2 days, my heart, my soul, my mind had centered all of its energy into creating some kind of ridiculous miracle that would let my brother know before his big day that I wouldn't be making it. And although without a doubt I knew this wouldn't be delivered without added stress onto people I love, I was so grateful that it only took 2 days for God to make a way. A part of me had been put to rest because before this, my stomach was twisting and turning in knots at the thought of the possible reality of my brother expecting me to show up to rehearsal the day before and not getting any response from me. Then all the joyful wedding excitement would turn into drama about my absence and why I've gone missing. As you guys can imagine, the next 23 days here were a roller coaster for me internally. But I did always manage to ground back into the stillness of God and tap into the peace within myself amongst all this chaos. So, on the same day that the embassy came through, the girl from Thailand got straight transferred to prison. Now it was just the local Mauritian, the other foreigner from India, and me. I naturally had an easier time bonding with the local Mauritian girl at first because she'd already been here 2 weeks before the rest of us. And the poor girl from India was still very emotional in a very energy draining way that I just had no space for at the time because I was already going through my own processing. About a week after, the local Mauritian girl was next to be transferred to prison. India even cried about it. And of course, now that it was just me and her, I was able to make some space to breathe God frequencies back into her. And this was how we ended up forming our bond. A couple days after that, we were joined by another foreigner from London. And then, a little after that, another from Mexico. And I say this is the most transformational portal I've ever stepped foot in because all of us were going through the most drastic, traumatizing changes of our lives. We were all forced to sit still while watching our entire world turn upside down. Whether it was a job, a house, relationships, pets, kids we left behind, this was definitely the place to mourn and grieve everything we once knew our current life to be, and coming to accept and trust in what's to come, the unknown.
You gon' have to heal the pain, wash away with all them waves, keep you grounded to the earth, down to earth, but you from space. You gon' have to heal